Greetings, everyone. It's wonderful to be with you and learning with you again. Our topic today is entitled Listening in Depth. Now, while listening may appear passive, it is actually active and requires discipline. When we listen deeply, we learn the most and mature the most. Listening involves being attentive to our bodies and minds, what others say to us, what nature reveals, and what the divine within conveys. Listening requires sacrifice on the part of the outer self to let go, so the master within can guide us. I'll share with you now an image to do with listening of an inspiring nature. It's by the artist Catherine Wells Stein. It's entitled Befittingly Listen, and it dates from 2015. You see the central figure here. Her hair merges into the soil. The roots merge into her, connecting in a way to her nervous system, the brain, and the inner nature. Hands up on the face in concentration, but also in great calm. And we see the movements of the insects, the butterflies, the flowers, all in dynamic action and movement. Her hair swirling with the soil. It's a wonderful evocation and suggestion of the power of listening, how it's an active, wonderful thing that we can do to appreciate the deeper laws in nature in our life and throughout nature and the cosmos. We use this image to inspire us to rise up into the cosmic. And we'll have a period of cosmic attunement where we'll have opportunity to listen in different ways or senses. We'll apply the booklet Liber 777, a key Rosicrucian document on meditation. Later, before we conclude, Karen will post in the chat the resources and also make it available as a PDF, a document for you. So at this point, while you take in the inspiring nature of the image before us on listening, let us prepare to meditate. However you're situated, if you're seated in a chair, you wish to have your spine upright, so the cosmic axis of the spine is working properly with the nervous system. You can breathe in an unencumbered way. You wish to have your feet flat on the floor, connecting with the temple of the earth, just as the person depicted here is communing with nature in the temple of the earth through a temple of her body. You wish to have your hands in your laps, palms down, knees at right angles. And when you're ready, you may wish to close your eyes and we'll turn inward even more, because we can listen both outwardly and inwardly. So ultimately they form one unity. Meditation is a profound act of listening. To begin our meditation, let us apply the law of purification and many other Rosicrucian laws and principles. I invite you to breathe deeply, doing what Rosicrucians refer to as neutral breath. So I suggest now you have your eyes closed, if you haven't closed them already, to turn inward even more. Enjoy the gentle rhythms of the breath, forming a vibration and a wave pattern, part of the octaves of what Rosicrucians refer to as the cosmic keyboard. As we grow in maturity as a human being, we become like a great pianist who can play all the octaves of the cosmic keyboard, where we live and are imbued with a great sea of vibrations, forming a great symphony or harmony. Just enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath. With the incoming of the breath, you may sense the increasing presence of the divine within, the master within, our inner self, our true nature. With each incoming breath, and as we mature and grow, we increasingly identify with it, and become whole through it. And with each exhalation, we stimulate the vagus nerve, one of the great nerves in our body, that allows the relaxation response to occur. Relaxation is essential to healing, to making whole. And if we're not thinking we have any particular ailment at this time, we can always increase in our wholeness, body, mind, and inner soul nature. And as you breathe in and out, I think you'll feel the vital life force, VLF, as Rosicrucians refer to it, having an enriching, tonic, tingling effect in the toes and the fingers, but then they'll increasingly move through the legs and the arms to our head, stimulating the various psychic centers of the body, associated with endocrine glands. 7 main ones plus 3 to make 10, associated with the musical scale, various colors and vowel sounds that we learn in our weekly lessons as Rosicrucians as part of our applications and exercises, of which meditation is the central one. And we'll do some more Rosicrucian exercises as we continue our meditation during the first half of this presentation. Just continue to enjoy the gentle rhythms of the breath, increasingly attuning with the cosmic. Cosmic is a special term of the Rosicrucians. It means the universal intelligence back of the cosmos and all natural and spiritual laws that we learn as Rosicrucian students through our monographs. We awaken and realize in them. For all this knowledge is within us through the divine within. If you find your mind wandering, just lovingly and gently, take it back to the gentle rhythms of the breath. No judgment. It's all part of the process, strengthening our intentional control. Psychological studies, it said that the human, on average, wanders about half of the time, about 50% of the time. But as we grow up and mature as mystical students, we reduce that percentage. Less and less wandering. And one of the ways we do that is through practice of meditation and increasing our attentional control. Just like bionology and doing push-ups and calisthenics, we strengthen our body and our biceps and arms. So in meditation, we strengthen our mind, clean its intentional control. And when we can stay on task more, we're able to master life more. These are all seemingly simple things, the breathing, the intentional control, but they're not to be underestimated for the tremendous value. For when we spiritualize them as mystical students, come more and more into realizing the full depth of a human being. Even if we haven't been told of these things before, if we're open to learn, if we listen, they'll come forward to us, to the outer nature's great astonishment, to the deep familiarity of the inner self. Just continue to enjoy wondrous actions, the gentle rhythm of the breath, the work of the holy temple, wisdom of the body. Soon, fratres and sorors and participants will ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum and do more active listening there. Now that we've purified ourselves to assist us for the great ascent and going deeper in meditation, let's apply instructions of the booklet Liber 777, the following invocation and prayer. May the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may enter the celestial sanctum and attune in pureness and in worthiness. So mote it be. Now, fratres and sorors and participants, let us rise up from where we're situated, our home or dwelling. Use all our imagination and inner psychic faculties rise up at great speed above our home and our neighborhood or area where we are, and the city or town or geographic location, and radiate love and well-being down to all sentient beings there, plants, the animals, the insects, all creatures and humans. They're taking the great lessons of life, increasingly realizing cosmic attunement in mind. As we rise up, see now the county, district, and province or state where you dwell, and see the landforms and weather systems. The deserts, the hills, the mountains, the lake shores, the lakes, the seas, the seashores, the fields, the meadows, the farmers' fields, whatever's applicable for your area and state. And keep rising up and enjoy the exhilaration of the ascent. Taking in now your entire great nation or country. You see the great system and order and beauty of it all below as we rise up higher and higher, faster and faster. And see the continent where you dwell. And now the hemisphere, north or south hemisphere is applicable to your location. As we rise up higher and higher, now see the beautiful blue jewel of the earth revolving about its axis, mirroring the axis of our spine. Keep rising up. See the moon revolving about our planet, our home, the earth. And look up and see our solar system, the wondrous elliptical orbits revealed to us through the traditional Rosicrucian, Sir Isaac Newton, and the great fiery ball of the sun, our local star. Its tremendous actions allow for life on earth to continue. Radiate love and well-being and psychic impressions to the sun and to the planets, the huge planet of Jupiter and the great rings of Saturn and Saturn. And the other planets, feel their psychic vibrations and return them back as we move higher and higher up in the octaves of the cosmic keyboard and go faster and faster now, way beyond the speed of light. As we see various other stellar phenomena in addition to our sun. The quasars, the pulsars, the binary stars, the supernovas with their great bursts of light. And inwardly sense the presence of the black holes balancing the Milky Way galaxy, our great home, rising up faster and faster beyond the nebulae and the rogue planets and the asteroids and all the stellar phenomena. And sense now the great arm of the Milky Way galaxy, one of the great spiraling arms of our great home. Pass right out from the Milky Way galaxy and look back and see its great spiraling arms in action, revolving just like the moon around the earth, and the revolutions or rotations of the earth. And look up away from our Milky Way galaxy and see other galaxies and stars, some galaxies spiraling and some in other formations, and sense and wonder of it all. Listen to the great range of vibrations on the cosmic keyboard as we listen both physically and psychically. And continue to enjoy the great ascent as we listen or hearken to with all our senses, inward and outward, to the wonder and awe of it. And the awe gives us even an increased capacity to apply the law of cosmic attunement and sense increasingly the cosmic mind and the cosmic. Continue to rise up and see not only galaxies now, but clusters of galaxies of which we're part of. So we exit right out of our local cluster of galaxies. We see more and more clusters of galaxies and even a great supercluster of galaxies spoken of by astronomers and astrophysicists. And pass right out from our local supercluster of galaxies and see other galaxies and stars, galaxies connected by great stellar webs and gases, and other superclusters and clusters of galaxies, and the great majesty of it all. great work of the divine, like a great craftsperson or creator, which musicians and artists and craftspersons on earth model their work after through their inner inspiration and muse. Keep rising up faster and faster beyond the galaxies, clusters of galaxies, and superclusters of galaxies, and now sense the tremendous motion of the cosmos as a whole, centered about a great cosmic axis, mirroring all the other axes we've spoken of already, all the great interconnections of the universe, a deeply meaningful structure. The microcosm mirroring the macrocosm, the cosmos. Sense to a great stupendous action of the cosmos about its cosmic axis, following all natural and spiritual laws. The great harmony and music of the cosmos, spoken of since ancient times. And go faster and faster, way beyond the speed of light. Continue upward, enjoying the exhilaration and listening to it all. As we go faster and faster, home in on the midpoint of the great cosmic axis, the center of the cosmos. You come closer and closer to it, slow up. When you've reached it, apply further the instructions of the booklet, Liber 777. Picture your sacred celestial sanctum. Maybe an inspiring place in nature, even the tremendous view of the cosmos all around you, or maybe some sacred place in nature you recall back on earth. A sacred grove, a meadow, a high hill, giving an expansive view, suggesting the cosmic viewpoint, or similarly from a high mountain point, by a seashore or lake shore with the waves coming in, suggesting the great vibrations of the cosmic keyboard, the sea of vibrations of the cosmos. Or maybe a built sacred structure on earth, such as a Sikh Gurdwara, a Jewish synagogue, Christian cathedral or church, a Hindu mandir, a Muslim mosque, the grand temple of the Rosicrucians at Rosicrucian Park in San Jose, California. Whatever you've chosen for your personal celestial sanctum, fill in the sights and sound. Make it real and vital. You may wish to picture there's incense rising up, suggesting the great ascent of the cosmic that we've just made to the heights of the celestial sanctum. Or beautiful stained glass windows or other artworks there suggesting mystical and Rosicrucian laws and principles. You may wish to picture other seekers and Rosicrucians on this conference call with us, seated in this great temple of your celestial sanctum, and you may wish to picture invisible and invisible masters there. The grand masters of the Rosicrucian order, the imperator may be conducting a sacred convocation at this time. Fill in the sights and sounds and all the impressions of your senses, both inward and outward, physically and psychically. Feel the exhilaration of being at the center point of the cosmos, at the center of your being. Attuning with the cosmic. Just as we applied the law of purification, now let us apply the law of cosmic attunement. When you've filled in your impressions, your personal celestial sanctum, the sacred stillness of being there, release the visualization and dwell for a time applying the law of silence, increasingly surrendering to the divine within. Just feel whatever there is to feel. In good conscience, let it unfold. We'll analyze it later. Just continue to surrender, to let go and let flow and let heal. Just listen to and hearken to whatever impressions come to you from the divine within, the master within, our true guide in nature, connecting us with all. Now, fratres and sorors and participants, let us conduct further spiritual operations of the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc. Let us apply a special application of the law of cosmic attunement. Picture your mind expanding, fill the cosmos, become the cosmic mind. Let your mind encompass the entirety of the cosmos. Feel and think as the cosmic mind feels and thinks. Be the cosmic mind. Experience as the cosmic mind experiences. Assume the cosmic mind now. So we continue to be one with the cosmic mind. Let us continue the spiritual operations of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc and its work and worship. Let us have a period of metaphysical aid. Let us do this as part of the silent council in conjunction with the Council of Solace of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc. Let us radiate love and well-being from the depths of our being through the divine within. To all those who have petitioned our Grand Lodge for healing and guidance, and all those who've petitioned our affiliate bodies for healing and guidance, and all those we know of who are in need of healing and guidance, and all sentient beings throughout the cosmos in need of healing and guidance. Let us radiate now love and well-being to them like a great searchlight from the center of our heart, center of our being, the heart of the cosmos, or like a great floodlight throughout the cosmos to all in need. Let it flow just like we felt the exhilaration of ascending to the heights of the celestial sanctum and the exhilaration of being at the celestial sanctum. Feel now the exhilaration of this great flow of love and well-being from the depths of our being, from the depths of the divine mind. Use conscious effort at first to get the flow going. Increasingly, I think you'll find that you can let go of the conscious effort and it will flow through the action of the divine within. For the outer nature is surrendering. The divine within is taking over to let the love and well-being flow. It knows how to do this perfectly. The outer nature is but a channel, not the source. At a certain point too, I think you'll find But the flow speeds up and you'll know all the more that you're reaching those in need. When it's done without conscious effort, just return to being one with the cosmic mind, assuming the cosmic mind. It's this great action of radiation of love and well-being continues. And listen and enjoy the fullness of the apparent silence and great depths of our being and the cosmic. Soon we'll formally conclude this period of metaphysical aid. We'll continue our meditation period, the heights of the celestial sanctum. As we conclude this period, the work of the Silent Council, in conjunction with the Council of Solace, let us be assured that the radiations of love and well-being will continue from us as a way of life and part of the fulfillment of our mission as Rosicrucian students. Increasingly realizing what it is to be a human being at one with the one. To conclude our period of metaphysical aid, let us say together, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done, so mote it be. Let us continue our meditation a while longer, being the cosmic mind at one with the one. Listening deeply. Now, fratres and sorors and participants, soon will ascend from the heights of the celestial sanctum, feeling rejuvenated, regenerated. You may wish to invoke at this time the law of gratitude, which intensifies the law of cosmic attunement. Be thankful for this opportunity to fulfill the law of service, radiating love and well-being, metaphysical aid, to fulfill our birthright in cosmic attunement, and to listen to the cosmos, both within and without, one unity. And for the divine impressions that came to us now and after this period will percolate up from within us, the cosmic mind to the subconscious mind to the subjective mind, working with the objective mind. We express our gratitude and love to all those who guided us well, and all those who have taught us well. And now let us begin, fratres and sorors and participants, our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. Moving again at tremendous speed with exhilaration, as the superclusters of galaxies, sensing the great revolving of the universe about its cosmic axis. As Move faster and faster beyond the myriad stellar phenomena of the pulsars and the quasars and the nebulae and the black holes. Continue with our descent, maintaining the cosmic attunement. And see in the distance our local supercluster of galaxies. And plunge into it and see all the clusters of galaxies. Sense the great harmony and motions and the wondrous music of the cosmos. Great handiwork of the Creator. And see in the distance our local cluster of galaxies and plunge into it. See the beauty and exhilaration of the descent. We pass by myriad galaxies, stars, nebulae, and see in the distance the wondrous arms and spiraling action of the Milky Way galaxy. Plunge into the great arm that is our home. Through past the nebulae and interstellar gases and rogue planets and asteroids and nebulae, stars of all shapes in terms of their size. And see in the distance the fiery ball of the sun in our solar system. The wondrous sphere or oblate spheroid of the earth. Great weather system, the blues and the browns of the continents, greens, as it rotates around with the moon. Let us go back to our hemisphere where we left off, our continent, our great nation or country, our province or state, the city or geographic area we left off. And let's conclude with another prayer and invocation. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. And let us continue to ascend further back to our neighborhood, our home or dwelling or building where we left off, the room where we are situated, however we're situated, seated with our spine upright, feet flat on the floor. Feeling rejuvenated, remade, all the more ready for our presentation today and fulfilling our mission in life. Feel the wholeness and health and the continuing attunement of the cosmic, diffusing all the forms of our mind. And when you're ready, you may wish to stretch and open your eyes, stratas and soars. And thank you so much for participating in this life-giving exercise. Now let us continue with our presentation. As mentioned earlier, listening is an active process that requires discipline. I think you would have felt that when we did our meditation period here with you concentrating on the breath and also the great ascent in the listening to the wisdom of the body, but also wisdom of the mind and the wisdom of the cosmics and the cosmic. This deep listening allows us to mature. And we can apply this deep listening not only during the meditation when we're seated on a cushion, but take it into the rest of our lives for our evolvement of our soul personality, so it can increasingly be polished like a mirror to reflect the one soul that we're all connected to. As I mentioned too, listening involves our bodies and our minds that we did in our exercise, but what others say. So for example, listen to me, but what nature reveals to us, depicted in this image by artist Catherine Wellstein, but also what we visualize within us as our great nature place or built temple for our celestial sanctum, and also what the divine within reveals to us or conveys. We are required in a way letting go and surrendering when we reach the heights of the celestial sanctum. But that's sacrifice from the Latin to make sacred. So we allowed the outer self to let go and let flow, so the master wind guided us. And we need to do this throughout our life as a profound act of listening. Here's another image I wanted to show you. It's by the French artist Charles Victor Thurion, who was incarnated from 1833 to 1878. It's entitled Listening to the Seashell. It's oil on canvas. It's in private collection. It's 22 inches by 24 inches. If you prefer the metric system, 55.9 centimeters by 61 centimeters. In a way, it conveys well the act of listening, and the way this academic portrait painter has shown us the eyes of the young child. We sense the presence of the soul personality, but even deeper, the one soul through the eyes. The traditional Rosicrucian used to say that the eyes are the windows of the soul. And also through the child, there's that deep sense of cosmic attunement. We're not long since they're coming into earth again through their breath, the first breath of the vital life force. You see the conch shell. I know many of you have held a conch shell up to your ears and held maybe with amazement or wonder, but very surprising things happen there when we listen deeply. There is a process of we hear the reflections of the ambient sounds or the surrounding sounds in the room we're in, whether we're by park or by the seashore. You'll hear the background sounds there that'll be reflected or bounced and amplified and resonate within the chamber of the seashell here, conch shell. It's very surprising something, but it's, I think throughout, when we use our sense of listening, find that there's a rich soundscape all around us. Some people even study soundscapes of the past as archaeologists and historians, just as we try to recreate what a town or nature looked like in earlier centuries. Part of that is, what was the soundscape? As technology changes over time, so does the sounds of that town or that landscape. Now, by listening, we mean not only the listening in silence of meditation, we also mean listening means to give attention with the ear or attend closely for the purpose of hearing. But hearing also, but I should say listening also has a more expanded meaning. To also mean to pay attention, to give heed, to hearken to. So all the senses and ways of being receptive can be involved. We find that suggested wonderfully here too in a close-up for painting, listening to the seashell. It reminds us of a way where Rosicrucian studies in the schematic diagram of mental processes in our Rosicrucian lessons. Show it to you now. You see here a picture of the cosmic, but all the different layers of mind within the cosmic and the cosmic mind. There's the external world and there's our five senses. There's the healing, yes, that goes on, very much so. But there's also the objective consciousness we spoke of, and the subjective consciousness and the subconscious. You can also think of this as being part of the objective mind, the subjective mind, and the subconscious mind. But there's the overarching cosmic mind that we use to attune with during our meditation. But we applied all these layers or senses as we rose to the heights of the celestial sanctum with their imagery and the reasoning of the mind and our memory, drawing forth impressions from the cosmic through the subconscious to us. When we listen to a person in conversation, for example, we use their sound and their voice is in the external world, yes. They're also part of the cosmic. And we use our hearing and also our sight in conversation. In fact, there are different layers or levels of listening. And we can decide how deeply we wish to listen. If it's a situation where we need to, in terms of healing or being assistant to another, and truly understand another person, to listen deeply during a conversation, we need to let the other person express their thoughts and feelings, becoming deeply in these layers of mind through the sound vibrations, the psychic vibrations to us that we'll receive and take in deeply here. We need to briefly acknowledge, of course, what the other person is saying along the way, but we generally remain silent and attentive without jumping in to say what our ideas are about the matter or give our suggestions or chastisements because we think they've said something negative, or relate what we think are similar experiences, or give them counter arguments for what they're saying, or changing the subject. Those latter type of responses are not part of deeply listening. They may come about later if they are needed and done in good conscience. You see, people need to process their experiences and come to their own truthful and mature perspective. And that's part of the great value of the Rosicrucian schematic diagram of mental processes. Whenever we're having challenges and trying to understand something or conundrums, often it's helpful to return back to this diagram, or its more elaborate form in our Rosicrucian weekly studies monographs. Understand how the phenomena is working. As we allow a person to listen carefully, we allow them to tune more deeply into the cosmic. It's true in the speaking, they'll need to come back to take attention of us, and we'll do likewise with them. But we'll gradually move with them more and more deeper into the subjective consciousness, to agree into the subconscious and the cosmic mind. In this way, the deep and truthful, mature perspective of the cosmic will come forward to them, and also for us. We commune with them. And if we're patient, maybe that we don't even explicitly need to make any comments or insights to the others, because their master within will reveal those lessons to them. And for a person to truly get a lesson, they need to have it come from deep within them and then apply it in service. Also, the other person may be so kind to do the same for us in return. Well, that is not expected when we work in service. It's true that the thoughts held in the mind, the sound of the voice, the movement of the eyes and body, and the human aura, in addition to the words spoken and unspoken, all convey the meaning and message of the encounter. For example, a conversation with another. And as if we've been a deep listener, there's something very special we can do if we find it's good in our good conscience to do. We can then, after we part with that person, we can rise up into the cosmic, just like we did in our meditation exercise. Because of the close affinity we've had with that person in deep listening, they will also be drawn up into the cosmic for a wonderful healing effect for them. This procedure is one of the many great healing methods that we learn as Rosicrucians in our weekly lessons, in addition to the contact healing treatments we learn about and the metaphysical aid method we practice during our meditation today. Indeed, with the many exercises we learn as Rosicrucian students in our weekly lessons, we can apply and adapt them and apply our imagination, our Rosicrucian laws and principles to come up with our new exercises, following our conscience and using the law of creativity. Now, I'd like to say some more about listening. You know, one of the things that comes strongly to mind to me in listening, and I think to many of you, is listening to elders. Those that may be greater than us in age, but also be much wiser. You know, it makes me think when I was a child, and I remember one of my elders mentioned when in our day that we used to make our own entertainment. We didn't have radios. We didn't have television. Storytelling was central in rapt attention and listening the child with the elder, and traditional stories and songs be passed down that way, as they still are to a degree today. I recall listening as a child, listening to elders that weren't born in this century. They weren't born in the previous century, but they were born in the century before that, the latter part of the 19th century. And they related and told me things that they had heard as a child, elders that were theirs that were born in the early 19th century and the 18th century. In this way, there's a great chain of communication that's passed from one person or one being to another. We come into that through our mystical traditions as well, like an initiation chain from one to other, like a great wave action down through the centuries under a deep and profound form of listening of a mystical nature. I know I've often stressed too, in relation to the mystical understanding of life, that the culture we're raised in other cultures, have deep mystical or truthful messages for us. I know, for example, in my own upbringing, there's the Gaelic language, and it is a very poetic language that has built into it profound mystical truths and a deep sense of continuity and connection with nature, and a spiritual etymology of the words. On a similar matter, you see all these are things that take part in the Rosicrucian thematic diagram, the flow, the interchange between the different layers or senses of mind that we apply throughout our life, and we get further and further imbued in as we practice meditation. Similar, I'll take you back to this image. You know, meditation outdoors is a wonderful thing to do. I know many of you have done that abroad. Sometimes we often think, well, you have to meditate indoor to have that silence. But also, I think you'll find that when we listen to nature, and that can be the wisdom of our bodies, yes, the wonders and beauty of nature, it gives us a great sense of well-being. Here's a work of art done by Asher B. Durand, an American artist, painter, teacher, and writer. It's entitled Early Morning at Cold Spring. Cold Spring in New York, I know many have known. It dates from 1850. It's also oil on canvas, somewhat larger painting of 152.4 centimeters by 121.9 centimeters, or 60 inches by 47.9 inches. It's at the Montclair Art Museum in Montclair, New Jersey. We know from the writings of Asher B. Durand a lot about his intent in his paintings. It was at the time of the New England Transcendentalists, spiritual philosophies of 19th century United States. Asher B. Durand talked about nature as a holy temple that he used to like to go to on Sunday and other days. It's suggestive of worship because you'll see in the background here, temple or a church, and also a suggestion there here. They're beautiful spires associated with the etymology or the word derivation of inspire. You see the beautiful blue stillness and tranquility of the water, but also the vibrations of the cosmic, the waves coming in here. It's wonderful that he mentioned along the lines that in approaching nature, become right-minded with reverent feeling, he says. And he quotes his friend, the poet, William Cullen Bryant, that I know you much love. He says, to the beautiful order of his works and to learn to conform the order of our lives. This is something we know in our Rosicrucian studies, that as we attune with the cosmic, as we experience the cosmic, we then emulate the cosmic. That harmony and order we feel without, we draw it within us, and we feel that the harmony and order within us helps to cause the harmony and order without us. If we're in turmoil within, we'll tend to having turmoil in our lives and our relations. But we've experienced this apparent duality within and without that we listen to is actually by the law of unity, a union, a one. As I emphasized, and as is suggested by the single figure here, who's communing with nature, and as William Cullen Bryant would say, the temple of the world, the temple of the universe, that the most important form of listening that comes forward is listening to the master within, the inner self, the divine within. It's the foundation that integrates all other forms of listening. Before we sum up for the day, I give a conclusion. I ask at this time for Karen post the resources for this presentation in the webinar chat, and also to attach a PDF document with the resources if you're so inclined. And I'll give you a moment to get those if you wish. Now, to sum up for our presentation today on listening in depth, notice we have, again, continued to explore Rosicrucian laws and principles and their application for self-mastery and our increased capacity for service. Well, we've mentioned that listening is an active process. It's a discipline that we need to learn and apply. The divine within will assist us as we mature and grow. Because when we listen deeply, we learn and mature the most, and we can have the most contact with our true nature and guide within. Listening is an expansive activity that takes up the full cosmic keyboard, all its octaves, being attentive to our bodies and the wisdom thereof, but also our minds and the soul personality and the one soul. And when we speak and listen to others, and what nature reveals to us, and what the divine within conveys. As we've mentioned, that listening requires sacrifice on our part, to let the outer self to let go. But then the most wonderful thing happens. The master within can guide us. And in this way, we grow up and mature, attain what the Rosicrucians refer to as the rose quartz state in mystical union through this great process of learning and listening. Thank you, everyone.